They just calculate the value and give the zakah either from these things or their value in currency. And if it's, if it's difficult for them, they can estimate it, but even make sure that they give more or higher estimate than probably what they think is really the real estimate, just to be on the safe side and make sure that you free yourself from any responsibility in this regard. Now, when it comes to anything that you prepare for yourself, you even hold for yourself, you keep, such as your food, your drink, all the furniture, all the house or houses that you have, all the animals you have, maybe your own cars, your own dresses, your own gold and silver, except the gold and silver where we said there is that different difference of opinion among the scholars of Islam. If you want to be on the safe side, then if they reach the threshold, then you have to pay the zakah. If not, then obviously you can include it as part of your personal needs. So anything that is reserved for your own needs as a person, as a family, as a group of people coming together for their own use, not for trade, then obviously there is no zakah in this. And look at this other issue, which is anything that is prepared for trade, for rent, anything that is prepared for rent, whether these are being real estate, cars, and the like, then there is no zakah in of themselves. However, whatever comes from the rent, like if you have a number of houses, maybe complexes, so there is no zakah for these houses or apartments or the complex that contains even a high number of these real estate pieces. But then the zakah would be in the income, what comes from that. That is important to have in mind. And of course you collect that with the rest of your other wealth, like if you have some money in the bank and so on, you have to collect all of this and pay the zakah for everything, and that is 2.5%. Now, all of this was made clear in order for us to be on the safe side and make sure that we pay the zakah for our wealth. And the wealth is owned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not by us. So when we give it, when we give this to the poor and the needy and those who are eligible to receive the zakah, then we should be very happy with it. We think that this is going to be a source of happiness and reward for us, not because it's a burden, not because it's a matter of loss. And I remember, for example, as one Shaykh, mashallah, mentioned this very interesting story about a man who was advised to give the zakah, and he was a very rich man, and he just collected the amount, and it came to a very high amount, and he put it in the trunk of his car, and he wanted to go to a big masjid and there give to the poor, distribute that amount to the poor and the needy. And while he was in the prayer, shaitan came to his mind. He said, wow, you're giving out this amount for nothing? I mean, just look at this. You worked hard and you collected this amount of money, and now you want to give it away just like that? No, you should not do that. So he retreated. He was not going, he decided not to give the zakah out, and he came out of the prayer, and he decided not to do it because shaitan came to him. Well, shaitan may come to us in our minds and our hearts and whispers these ideas that, look, this is your hard work, this is your own earning, why do you give it out to those who have not worked for it, those who probably don't need it? But if you think that the wealth is owned not by you but by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you are entrusted with it, you are responsible for it, and you have to spend it in the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you the permission to spend, then you'll give it with ease and comfort, and you say, oh Allah, forgive me and accept from me, because this is all from you and to you, and it's only for those that you ask us to give. At the end, when we leave this world, we have nothing to carry with us. We have no wealth with us. No money is going to be buried in our graves with us, and they will be of benefit to us. No. What is going to be of benefit to us is what we present for the next world, for the hereafter. That is going to benefit us. That's why a very nice story about what happened between Aisha radiallahu anha, our mother, the wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he, you know, when they decided to give part of one sheep they slaughtered, so they can keep some of it for their own use and give some to the poor and the needy. So they gave third, and they kept the rest. So the Prophet, she said that, well, third of it has gone, meaning is not for us. He said, it is with us. What is left for us is the third that we gave to the poor and the needy, not the 2/3 that we kept for ourselves. Look at this. You know, Aisha was saying 1/3 is gone. He said, no, 1/3 is with us, and 2/3 that we consume ourselves is not really considered for us, meaning that if we consume it, then it's not really going to be given to us. Although we have to make sure that if we consume anything, we need to do it with the intention that this is to make us strong and to keep us well in life, and to make sure that we do these things according to the what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us. In other words, I need to feed my family. I need to earn in order to keep myself running in life, and to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to spend and support the good causes. If you have that intention, then you're rewarded for that. But at the end, whatever you give for Allah's sake is what will stay with you. Whatever you consume is going to be gone. That's the idea behind the matter of zakah. Therefore, zakah is so significant, so important, and we don't need to do this. And we have to be very careful. We have to calculate everything that we earn, and make sure that we earn it rightfully from a good and pure source, and spend it in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is very, very significant, and that's why keep a record. Have a list of everything that you own. And as I said, maybe if you don't know what to do and how to spend the zakah, or when to give the zakah, well, at least decide on one particular date. Let's say the 20th of Ramadan, for example, if the zakah is due after that date, and make sure that you decide that whatever I have in my account on that day, I will pay the zakah for, and which is 2.5%. It's not really that much. For every 100, only 2.5%, or 1 out of 40. Look, you keep 39, you pay only 1 of 40, which is really almost nothing considered to what Allah has given you, and you shall give it, and even give us sadaqah. Besides that, not only what is due on you, what is right, but rather even the zakah. That's why this is going to bring us good in this life and the hereafter. Now, there's another issue, which is the issue of who's eligible for zakah. That is so important, because some people are not really sure who shall receive zakah. Well, there are 8 categories that Allah mentioned subhanahu wa ta'ala in the glorious Quran, when He said, إِنَّمَا الصَّدَقَاتُ لِلْفُقَرَاءِ وَالْمَسَاكِينِ وَالْعَامِلِينَ عَلَيْهَا وَالْمُؤَلَّفَةِ قُلُوبُهُمْ وفي الرقاب والغارمين وفي سبيل الله وابن السبيل فريضة من الله والله عليم حكيم. This is verse 60 of At-Tawbah, of Surah At-Tawbah. How is that translated? The meaning of which, verily, charities or sadaqat, meaning the obligatory sadaqah or charity, are for the poor and the needy and those who are working on it and those who are intended to win their hearts over, and for those who are to be for freeing the slaves or the emancipating anyone in bondage, and to support those who are burdened with debts, and in the cause of Allah, in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And for the wayfarer, this is an obligation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah is full of knowledge and wisdom. Now, that is how this is done. We need to go into explanations of these things, and obviously this is very, very important, very significant. Well, when we have these, and of course it's up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who decided who receives these zakah amounts, who is eligible, and we shall not go beyond what Allah has decided subhanahu wa ta'ala, because He has the full knowledge of what is really suitable and good for anyone who is there, because He's so wise. That's why in the ayah, Wallahu alimun hakim, Allah has a full knowledge and the full wisdom of what He does and requires and asks us to do. That's why it's very, very important. I think we'll go into more details in this regard after a short break. So please stay with us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back. Now, we discussed earlier those who are eligible for receiving the zakah, and we mentioned the ayah which gave us these 8 categories, which is ayah number 60 in Surah At-Tawbah. And in this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us the 8 categories, starting with the poor and the needy. Now we need to explain what that means. The poor and the needy are the ones who do not have enough support for themselves, and they don't have enough cash, for example, or they have a very continuous salary, for example, a durable income, people who don't have any businesses or anything to earn from. So if they do not have enough and they depend on whatever comes to them, then they are in need of support. And the scholars said that we shall give them from zakah whatever is sufficient for them for a full hijrah year, until the zakah time comes next year. Normally people give the zakat during the month of Ramadan, because that's a month of blessing, that's a month which precedes Eid, and people need some income for Eid in order to buy clothes, to bring things that will make them happy and enjoy their meals and the festivity along with the rest of the family. That's why very, very important to give them what is enough for them. Now, what would be enough? Well, we know the basic needs, and the basic needs are the housing, the clothing, the food and drink, and the medical needs to support you in terms of if there is anyone who needs medical attention, medicines to treat some illnesses. So these are basic things. Or if they work on earning but not sufficient for them, whatever is helping them to get the tools for earning. For example, if there is a person who has a big family and he has a car, a taxi, for example, to work on, and whatever he gets out of this work on his taxi will not be sufficient. So probably if the car is broken, we need to give them enough to fix that car and to support this tool of income to keep running. That's just one basic need. So these people can, even if they are, for example, a person who wants to get married, we need to support them to get married, because marriage is an essential need in life. Also, someone who seeks knowledge, we need to give them enough to buy books and to give them enough to run by and to fulfill the various needs. And obviously, those who are in need shall not ask more than what they need, because if they just need to get money and collect it, as some beggars do without a need, obviously they are going to ask, and only it's like charcoals in hellfire. This is the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. من سأل الناس أموالهم تكثرا فإنما يسأل جمرا فليستقل أو ليستكثر. Whoever asks people from their own wealth only just to increase what he has, not because of need, then he is really asking for charcoals in hellfire, and he shall take little or take more. There is no difference. The point is, we need to be on the alert for those who love to have even more, because this life is so attractive, and wealth has its own beauty and invitation, and therefore if we take it with good intention to support our families, to go by in life, fine, but not to just keep it and to increase the amount and then spend it somewhere on our own hobbies and things that are not really needed beyond our needs. But even if someone who seems to be rich and ask us for the wealth, then and we do not know, then obviously we can give that person. If a person looks fine and came to us and said, "Wallahi, I'm in debt, I'm really in bad need, although you can see me as healthy and well," we can give them, because we don't know exactly the situation of that person, and we may trust whatever they say. Although nowadays the organizations that supervise the zakah really look for the right people. They may search, they keep a record of the families and those who are in need. So if we have these trusted and these organizations that are there who can collect the zakah, that would be even better. And we can find at the at some banks these charities that are recognized by authorities, and we can give the zakah to these poor people, because we need to make sure that no one who's willing or able to earn, or anyone who's got enough, and we call them ghani, or rich, in the sense that they don't need anything more coming from zakah, then they shall have no right in receiving the zakah. So we talked about these poor and the needy, and is there a difference between a poor and the needy? They're very close. A poor person is really poor, and a needy person is a bit different, maybe not as in grave need as a poor person who's really down to earth, and they may not have enough to go by even on a daily basis. That's why we start with the poor first and then the needy second. There's a third category, which is those who are working on zakah. Those who work on zakah, and those who really are the ones designated by the government, by people in authority, to collect zakah and to distribute it, to keep it, to preserve it, to record it. And even if they have enough income, but they still have a right. But that's up to the authorities to decide whether they give them their salaries and to compensate them from zakah itself, or from the other wealth that the government or people in authority have. That's their own decision. And of course, those collectors who can volunteer for that, they would be rewarded inshallah, and they share the reward as the ones who give zakah. So if they do it voluntarily, otherwise they have the right. But if anyone who is not among the ones assigned by the government, then we have to be very careful. By the way, we need to be careful not to give zakah to anyone who claims to collect zakah, but rather people who are very, very much into this, and they are credited, and they are really trusted, and they are assigned by an authority. That's very important, because nowadays there are many people who really can deceive people and can make things appear to be right when they are not right. So we have to be very careful in this regard, and we have to follow the instructions given by the government in this regard, in order to preserve the rights of people and to make sure that no one is really receiving the zakah who is not worthy of receiving it. I need to stop here, but I'll continue inshallah in a coming episode regarding zakah and its importance and the categories of people receiving zakah. Until then, I leave you with Allah's care and protection. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.